Hey, Marcus here, welcome back to the SoundBridge YouTube channel. In this video, I want to show you 5 creative ways you can use layering inside the new SoundBridge sampler. These techniques can help you to shape your sound better, add punch, depth, width, or bring more life into your production. Let's jump straight into the first one. The first layering idea is combining a kick with a hi-hat to add an extra punch. Kicks usually carry a low end, but sometimes they lack clarity on smaller speakers. By layering a short hi-hat on top, you add some high-frequency content that helps it cut through better, especially on the phones and laptop speakers. So the first example, I'm going to create a sampler. We do that by adding a new channel, selecting the MIDI. I'm going to call it kick, punch, and now pressing 2 on your keyboard, we are opening the editor, and down below, edit, mix, and map. If you are on the mix, select edit, select sampler over here, and now I can start adding certain samples inside of it. I'm gonna add a kick, drag and drop it inside. Now I have loaded a kick, and I will create the MIDI straight away. 1 bar long, and I will set it to a loop, and I will extend it to the 8 bars. So now I have placed the kick. Now I'm gonna go back and click to the sample. I'm gonna turn on this into the layer mode because by default it's on a single sample mode. So by clicking this button, we are entering the layer mode where I can load several samples on top of each other. So I'm gonna drop a hi-hat sample inside as well. Now both of these samples are going to be triggered by the same note because we are in the layer mode. Now I can start editing these samples. I'm gonna go and turn on the amp envelope because I want to create a different envelope for the hi-hat as I want it to be very short. So I'm gonna turn the sustain all the way down. I'm gonna change the curve. I'm gonna turn on the filter and I'm gonna use high pass filter to remove all the low and mid frequencies as I want just to have a certain high frequency element on top of the kick. I'm going to reduce the Q. And what I can also do is that I can change the pitch. By turning this, we are creating the pitch envelope. If the sustain is all the way up, that means during the whole length of the sample, the pitch will be changed if we change the amount over here. If I want to change the pitch at the beginning and then bring it back to a normal, I can reduce the sustain, as where this dot is on the maximum is going to be pitched and then it's going to be back to its default pitch. The second idea is layering a hi-hat with a bit of the filtered noise or the ambience. A plain hi-hat can sound too clean or static, so adding a subtle layer of white noise or any other texture recording can give it a little bit more movement and character. It's a small detail, but it really makes a difference in a feel. So I'm gonna start by creating another sampler channel, MIDI, hi-hat plus ambience. So I'm gonna go to sampler, load the hi-hat. I'm gonna copy the MIDI that I already created and move it just for 1/8. I'm gonna go back to sampler and I'm gonna turn on the layer mode. I'm gonna drag and drop white noise as well. And because this white noise sample is very long, I'm gonna shorten it up because I don't need that much. I just need a small touch of it. So I'm gonna turn on the amp envelope. I'm gonna reduce the sustain all the way down. So without it, and with the white noise, again, I can turn on the filter, I can select the high pass filter, I can remove all the low frequencies, reduce the Q. I can also increase the size of it to leave a little bit more sustain there and a little bit more of the release as well. So play with all of these settings until you find something that sounds very nice to your taste. Now let's move into the melodic layering. Here I'm combining a piano sample with a synth to create a more powerful and richer sound. This works great when you want to blend an organic tone of one sound with the texture of another, while still having control of each layer separately. Creating another instance, I'm gonna add the MIDI. I'm gonna load in the piano sound. This single note of the piano is an A note, so it's very important that we merge the root note over here with the exact pitch of the sample. Almost every time you can find the exact pitch in the name of the sample itself. So this sample was in A note, so I'm selecting the A note as well as the root key. Now turning on the layer mode, dropping in the synth sound. And the synth sound is A note as well, so I'm gonna set A1. And now I can write certain melody by creating an empty MIDI block. I can also back into the sampler, turn on the amp envelope for the synth. I'm gonna reduce the sustain, open it a little bit more. Maybe open it a little bit more. We can do the same for the piano as well. Turn on the amp, reducing the sustain, opening the release a little bit. I can also reduce the level of the synth, selecting the synth, and with the gain over here, I can reduce its level. I can also filter out the synth sample. And I can also add the filter envelope as well. So by filter envelope, I can control how the filter will behave by the time. So decay a little bit up, sustain all the way down, and then the amount, when I increase, that means the cutoff will open, and as the time passes, it's going to reduce it. I can even play with the curve settings over here. Maybe change the decay a little bit. Play around with the settings until you find something that suits for your needs. The fourth example is about building a custom impact by layering 3 different samples. One for the low end, one for the mids, and one for the highs. This way, you can design a unique impact sound that covers the whole spectrum and fits perfectly in your mix. One more instance, MIDI, impact, sampler, the low one. I will create an empty block. I'm gonna set the C1. A solid for this case. I can go back to sampler, turn on the layering mode, drop in the high impact sound as well. Since I have 2 powerful sounds, I need to reduce the level of both of them. Let's reduce the high one a little bit more. And I can drag and drop the mid impact as well. As it starts a little bit later, I can move this left side and make it to start at the beginning where the transient starts. I can zoom in by holding Command or Control, move it to make it to start exactly at the beginning. And now I have 3 sounds that are layered and creating super custom impact sound that is very powerful, hitting low, mids, and highs. And for the last one, I want to show you a quick stereo trick. If you have a mono sample and you want to make it wide, just duplicate it, pan one layer on the left side and another to the right side, and detune one of them slightly. This tiny pitch shift creates just enough difference to make it feel stereo, and it works great for percussions or any other short sounds. I'll start once again by adding one more instance of sampler. I'm gonna name it stereo, and I'm gonna drag and drop that mono sound that I have inside. So let's create, I'm gonna copy this MIDI from the kick, and then I'm just gonna delete every second one. So I'm gonna go back into the sampler, I'm gonna turn the layer mode, I'm gonna drag and drop the same sample again. And I'm gonna pan the first one completely on the left side. I'm gonna pan the second one on the right side. And I'm gonna turn on the pitch and I'm gonna slightly change the amount, like 0.16. So these 5 layering tricks you can do directly inside the SoundBridge sampler. I hope you find something useful. You can try it in your own production. Thank you very much for watching and see you soon in another video.